Nicole. I'm Ariana. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. It seems like you're on set for season 3, so it seems like you're doing pretty well, but no confirmations. So, in this week's episode, it's like I've talked to every part of the love triangle except for the one person who did not want to, and is fully unaware of this love triangle. I've talked to Christine, I talked to Russell, and now you. Were you surprised about Lucille's reaction to it? Because she's very even kill usually. Like, she has swallowed a lot throughout the show. Were you surprised about how she reacted?
No, ma'am. No, I mean, this was so big,
Mm-hmm.
It's just so big, and it's and it's her dear friend, and I think that she can no longer contain herself. And it's a lot of information to process, just all around. It's like, not only your husband is doing this thing, but it's my someone I really confide in, who is my neighbor, who is all these things. You never really have even seen me with a friend on the show, besides her. And the fact that I want to share it with her because, I need some support right now. And I'm thinking that, she's going to show up and be there for me. And I know so much of her personal business. We've shared a lot of things. And so, yeah, no, I'm not surprised. That'll make somebody snap.
Well, do you think cheating is forgivable? I don't.
Do you, Michole?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I think it depends probably. And I would never have thought that I would say this, but this is maturity at this point for you. But I think it depends on how honest somebody really is, and if they really can come clean. If somebody's really looking to really work through something, I think it could be an opportunity for major growth between two people. And I do think that on a certain level, depending on the situation, but like this situation, I do think, Lucille played a part of their disconnect too, in a way, you know what I mean? So I think that sometimes, but it just depends on the situation. So I don't think every situation is like this, but I do think that they love each other deeply, and they just weren't connecting, and she had kind of pulled herself away because she was upset, but that still doesn't justify his actions in any way, shape, or form. So I really, yeah, I mean, and this, I mean, it's not just no one night stand. It's not, and on top of it, it's like my really, like, almost best friend, I think, and I don't know, that I can't even say if that would be forgivable, but sometimes you surprise yourself with what you think. Sometimes you say, no, I would never do this thing, and you might find yourself in a certain situation, and it's like, what the heck? But I do think that every situation that you go through is an opportunity for growth, and that why have you attracted this thing in your life? And so there is some responsibility on both ends, and it's like, whoa, what is my part in this? And and really being able to acknowledge that. And that doesn't mean you have to necessarily, you can forgive, but you can still forgive and set some healthy boundaries and not allow somebody in your space in that way anymore. But it just depends on the situation and where you and what the willingness is on both parties to really go in and do the work.
Yes. I've seen on social media, and Lucille is still alive and well and thriving and very much a part of the show, the real Lucille. But how is it like to know this person, but also portray some of the hardest aspects of her life? Infidelity, her children eventually being locked up and missing time with their grandchildren. What is it like to, oh wow, this is this great Black American story, to see just kind of the notoriety, but also her as the mother and the matriarch. This is actually probably something really hard and conflicted for her to deal with. What is it like to navigate that as an actor?
You know, I try to check in with her regularly because the most important thing to me is that the audience hears her voice and really and understands her perspective. And I think, you know, that's one thing about the show that I'm excited about. You don't always hear this side, and wanting to share that they came from a good family and all of these things. But it is, you know, I mean, what she went through is challenging on so many different levels. Like, you know, yeah, with the boys getting shot so many times, and it's just like they're always. I mean, she went through a lot and still remains an anchor. And uh but I do check in with her, like I said, to make sure, like, how are you feeling about this? Like, even, you know, especially all this stuff with Mabel and all that. How are you, you know, and it's a lot to, I'm sure, to watch and see what happened. And then, and some things are, you know, the drama is heightened some because of the show, and being able to separate herself. And I have a lot of compassion for her. And so just this episode alone to me was like the most exciting of the whole season, and I could not wait to get to it, and to really express all of this and be able to snap and share and go off. I'm rooting for Lucille too.
Yes. What was it like shooting that scene? Because we haven't seen that side of Lucille, and she was done. There were no mincing of words. It is, Mabel, I need to tell you about yourself, because like, it's not just because you're my best friend. It's not just because this is my man. It is just the principle of the matter. Like, why would you do this? Like, what was it like to shoot that scene? She's in her face, she is letting it all out.
It was intense. It was a lot. And I was saying this earlier, that, you know, the biggest thing, like, I'm usually a very kind, caring, giving actor too. And I really always want to make sure everybody's okay and comfortable. And that day I really could not say anything to Christine, bless her heart. I love her so much, and she was just such a pro and so great, but I couldn't, you know, it was just too much stuff going on, and I just really had to use everything in me. So I really had to, you know, as an actor, to really separate myself, because, you know, the emotion felt so real, to really allow myself to experience that in the moment. So it was intense, girl. It was exciting, and it was intense, and I felt really sorry for her. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, because I didn't really even say like what I was gonna do. I didn't even know all of what I was gonna do in those moments, and I was just all in her face, and I just didn't say anything, and until afterwards, and we had a really beautiful conversation. She's such a wonderful talent, and I just I really respect and appreciate her work, and just her, like, she's a deep girl too. So we had a beautiful connection, but it was intense that day.
Yes, we seen a teeny bit of Lucille kind of standing up for herself, especially in a couple of the church scenes, and even when Lamar comes over, that like after they get shot, and it's just like, we're not going to be hypocritical here. I'm not saying they are the best citizens of the city. However, glass houses, everyone. I just simply want you to pray for my son.
Right.
How's it like as an actor? Because kind of in the first season, she's stressed out and even killed, but we see kind of the multi-dimensions of Lucille. And what's refreshing about the show is it's not just about the drug dealings or what. This is actually like an ensemble family drama, and everyone, no one is an ornament or just kind of moving along the story. What is it like to be able to have such a thick and meaty character, but who inherently isn't the villain, which I think is hard to kind of have a complex character who's not a villain.
What's it like to play a complex character that is not a villain?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sorry. Um, I mean, I think whether you're the villain or you're not the villain, that the most important thing is to tell the truth of the character and to find different areas where you can justify their actions. So, you know, you still find some kind of vulnerability and understanding in the character, even if you're the worst character in the world. You know, like, you know, I think that Eric Kofi Abriva does that beautifully with Lamar. And because, you know, he is the villain, but then you say you have these moments where you see, you know, just even with the dog and Blackie and how he, you know, feels like that's me. And I grew up with, you know, not really having anybody, so I can't leave this dog alone. I have to be here to foster this dog. And anyway, every character has to have different levels. So whatever you do, I think it's just important to tell the truth and try to show as many sides of that character as you can with what you have.
Yes. The show has such a strong social media following, like it did in season 1, but season 2, I feel like is a completely different beast. As an actor, do you engage with it, or do you kind of keep it separate so you're able to do your job and kind of have your own mindset of where you want Lucille to go?
No, I mean, I engage fans. I think it's interesting to hear their perspective on things, and I'm happy that they're watching and listening and enjoying. So I want to show up as much as possible to chime in with, you know, the little bit that I can. And I love to see how invested people are. It's quite fascinating to me, actually. And like this season surprised me. Like I was, you know, the first season, you know, we were like so anchored and grounded in this whole thing. And then us kind of coming apart the second season, I felt like, oh man, that's a bummer. And it felt like, and then everything that Lucille has to go through, I was like, man, this is no fun. This is not a walk in the park for me. But it's interesting how receptive people have been and how much other people, you know, you watch other people's experiences and you learn, and it helps to heal you. You know, so many people have had all these different conversations about relationships and things like that. So based on what's happening with Charles and Lucille, and I just think I think it's so great. And even, you know, all the things with the church and talking to, you know, the church, if you're being hypocritical here. And I think this voice is so important to be heard, because that really does happen. And this really did happen to Miss Lucille, you know, that because of this situation that she was shunned. And it's like, well, is that right though?
Yeah.
And I think I really think the writers too have done a wonderful job of raising these kinds of questions. And it's just a very human show and a very authentic story. And yeah, and we're still dealing with real people's lives here. That's, you know, it's just a really delicate walk with all this. And it's wonderful that people are so invested. And I hope that many people just that it helps to heal people and you grow from it and all of that.
Yes. Speaking, I've talked to you more about this before, that religion plays such a big role in Lucille's life and even affects her children, but not really in the way that expected. Like Meech really thinks that this drug game is divine, that it was meant to be, that it was sent from God, that this is philanthropic work. But she also has like the sweetest and cutest relationship with her children. Do you have that type of relationship with Da Vinci, Meech, and Layla? Because they're just so sweet. They're such mama's boys. It's really cute.
Yeah. Oh no, I love them in real life. That's, and I was just saying this yesterday. Russell and I were talking too, but it's so beautiful. I'm so thankful to be here. And then just, little Meech is wonderful, and just being a part of his life in this way as he walks this journey of stepping into his father's shoes in real life and experiencing these things and learning, putting the pieces together of his own life is just, it's profound what he's going through, I think. And to be able to be here and to be a part of that, and to support that, and all of them, like, they're all just amazing in so many different ways. But it's such a gift, because it's a beautiful family here, like everybody, not just the cast, but the entire crew. Is just, we have a really, really fantastic team. And I'm just so honored and thankful to be a part of it, that I can show up every day, and everybody's got each other's back, and there's just so much love. It's a beautiful family. It
Yes,
really, yeah.
it really
They're,
is.
yeah, they're yummy. All those kids are yummy.
They're so cute. And you can
Yeah.
tell that even like with the skating scene, that like real Meech, the actor, is just like, oh, Nicole's not going to skate alone. I'm going to skate with her.
Right. He's so sweet. Yeah.
It is really cute.
Yeah.
But it was great talking to you. This is our third time. I hope many more, and so many
I
other
hope so too. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Congrats on whatever you're working on. And I hope to talk to you soon about that and other future projects.
Yes, ma'am. Same. Thank you. Have a fantastic day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay.